Sorry.
Leela.
It's spelled Leela.
But
But
she's already started.
you think she'd add like an extra A, like Leaila. Layla. Right? But hey, it's coming from the girl whose name is Love.
Daddy,
What?
I'm thirsty.
Yeah. I've never seen a kid get so thirsty in my life.
Go that way. Go that way.
Don't take it in there.
That's my Thursday card. You might want to holler at me.
Yank your socks, CJ.
Kid be drinking, cracking waves.
You think they like never had anything? You know what I'm saying?
Bottom lip tucked out. Get up to that thing. You nothing
Tongue
drinking.
problem.
Get every drop.
I thirst.
You should get a Gatorade commercial.
That thing made me thirsty. Well, praise y'all for another opportunity for us to come together, see each other, be together on another wonderful Sabbath to hear and learn the word as given to us by the Most High God. We know all honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua, whom we call Jesus. In him lies the only hope of salvation. We know it's obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, but it's obtained and given freely as a gift to anyone who obeys him. Anyone who does not obey him, we know it's made manifest or made obvious that they do not believe and that they are already condemned. In this state, we should expect no good thing from God. However, anything that we do get, whether it be a special experience, a supernatural experience, a gift of healing, or us being healed supernaturally, or resurrected from the dead, if we have some special dream or some vision, or any other supernatural experience that we can think of, we should understand that it can and it will be used against us in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints in the room, and also to the saints that are watching and are far off. Also, no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. That said, let's get started with Isaiah chapter 28. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9.
Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
All right, so he said, whom is he going to teach knowledge to? And who is he going to make to understand doctrine? He said, those who are weaned, he's asking a question. Those who are weaned from the milk, or the ones who are drawn from the breast. Right? And that's what we do. When we come in, we're new. It's milk for us. Right? And that's where everybody has to start. Right? It's milk for us. But it's important for us to get past the milk, because if we stay at the milk, he's asking a question, who is he going to get a knowledge to? The ones who are on the milk. So he's showing us that we won't have the information. We won't have the knowledge. We won't have the teaching if we stay on the milk. We won't have the full plan. Right? We know that let's go to Hebrews chapter 5. This is Hebrews chapter 5, verse 11. I almost want to say 9. 9 probably crack. Let's start at verse 9. 9 probably cracking too
And
much.
being made perfect, he
Wow, I
became
told
the
you.
author
Look.
of eternal salvation.
This is the one where he
unto
tell you
all them
you're going to have to
that
obey
him.
to have salvation. Keep going. Being made perfect.
And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him.
All those, see, every time, any book, any chapter, just quote verse 9. It's the one. Keep going.
Called of God, a high priest after the order of Melchizedek, of whom we have many things to say, and hard to be uttered, seeing ye are dull of hearing.
All right, so he said there's a whole lot to say about Melchizedek, right? But he said that these things are hard to speak about, right? It's hard to understand, especially when you're of dull hearing. So he said, especially when y'all don't understand. when we read in Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9, it talks to us about hearing, right? To the ones who did not hear, it became precept upon precept, precept upon precept. So he's telling them that we can tell you about these things, right? We can try to explain these things to you, but you're a dull hearing, right? You're not going to hear. Let's hear about why they're not going to hear.
For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again to be the first principles of the oracles of God.
All right, so he said by this time, y'all should be teaching yourselves, right? You should be teaching other people. But now you have need that somebody else come back and tell you the first oracles, right? The principles, right? The beginnings, the elementary things about the word, right? About the oracles of God. Keep going.
And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
So he said you become like someone who needs milk, right? So that's what Isaiah is talking about. He's saying, to whom will he teach knowledge? To whom will he make understanding teaching, right? Those that are weaned from the milk are drawn from the breast, right? So he said, you just fresh off of milk. You just drawn from the breast in terms of the word. He said, you're not ready for the knowledge. And that's the same thing that the writer of Hebrews is telling his disciples, or these disciples. He's saying, you're not ready for it. I could speak to these things about it, but you're dull of hearing, right? You're not ready for it. Keep going.
For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness,
He said,
for
if
he
you
is a
only
baby.
use milk, then you're unskillful in the word of righteousness because you're only a baby, right? You're only a baby. So that means the word of righteousness, you have milk, so you have some of it, but you're not skilled in it. It's not appropriate for you to teach it, right? You end up making a mess because you're only a babe. Let's hear about it.
But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age.
Full age. All right, keep going.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
All right, that's you by reason of use, he said, right? I mean, you got to put that thing into practice. And as you put it into practice, it grows your wisdom, right? You have experiences in applying the word to your life. If we just read, that's why James said you can't be a hearer of the word and not also a doer. Because if we just hearing it or we just reading it and we don't actually apply it to our lives, we don't come to a place in our life and say, you know what? I can't do that because the word tells me not to, right? And as we do that, we begin to trust God more, right? So we lean on him. It's like, you know what? It wasn't so bad. I thought to stop smoking weed would be terrible. It wasn't that bad. I thought to stop getting drunk would be terrible. It's not that bad, right? I thought that me sacrificing myself for other people, right? For just, leaving my own self out of the picture and doing it, it really wasn't that bad, right? And then it begins to grow you and you trust God and you become righteous in yourself, right? Based off of his righteousness. So in those things, he grows and you become a discerner of strong meat, right? You become a discerner of good and evil, right? Which means you're able to. So now, when your mind is already set up, this is right, this is wrong. When someone tells you something about the word that's a little bit deeper, that takes a little bit more understanding, your mind is already set up to determine what's right and wrong, so everything falls in place. Before that time, you'll just be confused. It's just somebody just blathering off a whole bunch of stuff and you don't understand it because your mind is not ready because you haven't submitted yourself to the truth of God yet. Right? Keep going. This is talking about strong meat.
Therefore, leaving the principles of doctrine of Christ, let us go on to perfection.
All right. So this is chapter 6, verse 1. Right? He's talking about the milk and the strong meat. Milk would be the basic principles of God. Right? These are the basic principles of the gospel or basic principles of the word. Just the basics. It's the elementary level, right? Strong meat would be the higher levels, the higher understanding, the understanding necessary for us to make it through and be saved in it, right? The milk is just what gets us started where we all started. We have to grow though. If we don't grow past the milk, if we don't get an understanding, then we won't understand the teaching is what Isaiah is telling us, right? That's why it's important for us to pay attention and always try to get an understanding from it, right? And constantly seek God from the heart. Keep going. Read that verse again for me.
Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Christ,
the principles, that principle just means basics, okay? So it just means where it started. So leaving the principles of the doctrines of Christ and moving on to what?
Let us go on unto perfection.
To perfection. Keep going.
Not laying again the foundation.
So now he's saying not laying again the foundation. Remember, the principles are the foundation. It's going to be the basics. It's where it starts. So he's saying not laying again the foundation. So now he's going to give us a definition of what milk is. Remember, milk is the principles. It's the foundation. It's the beginning, the elementary things, right? He's going to give us exactly what the foundation is. He's saying not laying again the foundations.
Of repentance from dead works.
So repent. That's the very first thing he named. Basic. This is basic. Repentance from dead works
And of faith towards God.
All right, that's all one. Repentance from dead works and faith towards God. Right, you can't repent and not have faith towards God. Otherwise, you didn't really repent. Right, you just stop doing whatever you're doing, but you're still facing the wrong direction. Repent means to turn around. Right, so we have to turn around and have our faith towards God. Keep going.
Of the doctrine of baptisms and laying on of hands.
Right, so he said of the doctrine of baptisms. Right, that's us being baptized. Right, and then he said what else?
And of laying on of hands.
And he said of laying on of hands. That has to do with praying for one another. All right, keep going.
And of resurrection of the dead.
Right, resurrection of the dead. That's our salvation. That's our hope. Right, that's what saves us. That we hope that when Yahushua comes back, he'll raise us from the dead.
And of eternal judgment.
And eternal judgment. You're talking about hell. Right, you're talking about in the judgment, in the end. It's going to be a great white throne, the Bible tells us. And then we'll all be judged by the books. All right. So these are the foundations, right? And let's see what else he said.
And this will we do if God permit.
All right. So he said, if God permits, we'll move on from these things. We won't lay again these foundations. We won't have to keep talking about these same things because now we'll understand and we'll move on. What did he tell us about the milk? The person who only has milk is what?
Unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Unskilled in the word of truth. So now we already know that most of these pastors don't even talk about these things. Right, most of the pastors, they don't talk about repenting, right? And if they do, they just say it, and they have everybody thinking repentance is a prayer, right? For the long, I thought repenting was a prayer. I just repented last night, and all I did is said a prayer, right? I thought it was the same as saying God forgive me, but they haven't taught anybody exactly what repenting and having true faith towards God is, right? The doctrine of baptism, and there they talk about baptism, and first thing else, they don't tell you, no, that's just an outward expression. It's not. You don't have to be baptized. The man on the cross next to Jesus, Jesus told him he would be in paradise with him that day. And he wasn't baptized, right? So the whole thing, whenever they talk about the doctrine of baptism, it's to denote it, right? Say, well, it's not, don't worry about it. It's not necessarily necessary. Just do it if you want to, right? Laying on of hands, all right? I make a mess with that anyway. They lay a whole lot of hands on people. And the next one, they talk about the resurrection, right? You have people talking about, they don't talk about the resurrection anymore. All they talk about is going to heaven, right? When you die, grandma looking down, right? And then the judgment. You have a lot of people that teach that hell ain't real. That hell is a metaphor, right? That hell isn't the end. People go to hell for a certain amount of time and then everybody ends up going to heaven in the end, right? So you have all these weird doctrines, all these weird teachings. And the reason why, because they haven't even got the principles right? They haven't even got the milk right. Now, it's so rare to even get the basics right that if you have a church that does talk about, turn away from sin, you shouldn't be a homosexual, you shouldn't fornicate, and really talking good on sin, that's the best pastor in the world. When really all he's doing is just talking about the basics. This is not even, you haven't even got into anything yet. And that's what we have to learn how to discern. We have to be able to look at this based off of the Bible, not based off of something that Phil Moore made up, not based off of something that some other person made up. Based off of the Bible, what is it saying? What does it define as what we need to know and what we have to know and what we need to do? And we have to continue on in that and keep faith because God has promised us stuff. He said stuff that's going to happen, and eventually these things are going to happen. A lot of times we just kind of move on because no lightning bolt strikes next to us when we do something wrong or when we say something wrong. And so now it's more valuable in our minds to just continue on in this lie and pretend like we don't really know what the truth is than it is to just operate in the truth, right? It's more valuable. I've been doing it this way. I've been going to this Baptist church all of my life. I had this cross on my neck all my life. Nothing ever happened to me. I know Jesus, right? I know. So then when you read it where it said no graven images, and then you read where people wouldn't give up their gold and silver in Revelations, it's like, okay. Well, no, that's not talking about me. It's talking about something else. And we do that and we lie to ourselves and harden our heart against the word, and it creates a problem because God promised that things will happen to us, right? And he's not slack concerning his promise. All right, we're going to go ahead and look into it. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 28. We probably left off about verse 10, verse 11.
For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little and there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing.
All right, so he's going to speak to a people in the way that they don't understand. And that's where we are when we're on milk, right? We look at the word, and if we even get just a little bit deep, really the stuff that we go over in here is not even close to strong meat. None might be sometimes close to strong meat, but it's not strong meat. A lot of the stuff that we go over is not. It's just basic stuff. We talk about sin all the time. Every now and again, we talk about baptism. Every now and again, all the time, we talk about judgment. We always talk about the resurrection, right? Every now and again, we're talking about laying on hands and praying, right? These things are basic that we talk about. It's not, we don't get deep, and we find Yahushua and show how the scriptures testify of him, right? That's the most advanced thing that we do, right? But still, it's difficult for us to understand these things because we've been dumbed down for so long. There's so many things that we've been taught that doesn't make sense or doesn't line up with the word. So that's why the first thing that we have to do is tear this stuff down so that we can build the foundation correctly. Once we have a foundation, we could stack on top of the foundation until we have a whole house, until we become the temple of the Most High God. All right, keep going.
But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon
All
precept.
right, and why was the word of the Lord unto them precept upon precept?
Precept upon precept.
Hold on, that was a question.
Oh.
Why was it precept upon precept unto these particular people?
Because they're babies? Or
They're
they
babies.
wouldn't hear?
Because they would not hear. All right.
Word.
Right? We babies, it's all going to be precept upon precept for all of us, right? But at some point, if we hear, God will show us and direct us to the correct way. All right, keep going.
But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken.
And what's a snare? That means God set them up. All right. If you don't hear, God's going to set you up. And that's his promise. All right. That's a promise that he gives. If you don't hear, you don't listen, don't obey, don't pay attention, don't continue to force yourself to seek him, he's going to set you up. All right. And we might not even know it. Right. We may not even be paying attention to that part. All right. So that's why it's important for us. We all start off as babes. So, all right. So it's not a problem necessarily for us to not understand, for it to feel like these things are coming to us and I just don't get it. That's not necessarily saying that we're being rebellious or that we're doing something wrong, because we all start off as babes. In the beginning, that's why he said it twice. That's why he gave it precept upon precept twice. The first time he's saying babes, right? When you just weaned off of the milk, there's going to be precept upon precept to you. Then he said, well, if you continue on and you don't hear, it's going to stay precept upon precept, and it's going to stay that way so that you'll be trapped. But we all have to start off as babes. Go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1.
Now every time we go somewhere, I read verse 9.
What verse 9 says?
You want me to
You can
read?
read it.
But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation.
It's all good.
People.
It's just every time. It's just all good. This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Verse 1.
Wherefore, laying aside all malice.
All right, so he said, therefore, he said, wherefore,
Wherefore,
right? Laying aside all malice. What's malice?
evil.
Right, so it's evil thinking, evil intentions, right? You have an evil heart towards somebody, right? It's malicious, right? You want harm to come to them, or you want hardship, right? You want them to struggle, you want them to suffer. All right, so he said, laying aside all malice
And all guile.
All guile. What's guile?
And the deceitfulness.
Deceit, sin, right? So guile is sin, right? Or deceit, right? When you speak at something, you want to deceive somebody. All right, so you laying aside all malice, all deceit,
And hypocrisies.
all hypocrisies,
And envies. And all evil speakings.
All right, so then all envies, and then all evil speakings. All right, so after you lay aside all these things, what you supposed to do?
As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
All right, so it's important for us to lay aside these things. A lot of times you'll have people saying, no, so you can't just judge people, right? You can't be taught, you can't judge people. that's just a babe in Christ. Babes make mistakes. Well, no, we looking at the word. He's saying you're not even born, right? You're not even a baby yet until you've done these things, right? So after we lay aside all these things, then we desire the pure milk, right? Then we're born. Then after we're born, now we have to grow. The whole point of us desiring the milk is to grow. All right, then you're gonna see next, he's gonna tell you, he's gonna give you a condition
If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious.
All right, so basically what he's saying is, well, you do that, if you really saved, right? If you're gonna be saved, if God has been gracious to you, right? God's been gracious to us. He allows us to hear this word, all right? And if we tasted that, right? If it's something that we really tasted, then we won't turn back. All right, that's a sign that we haven't tasted it if we turn back and we get to doing the same things over and over again. All right, it's important for us when we hear it to taste it, to pay attention, to desire the milk. All right, then as we get the milk, we move on to strong meat. All right, I gave my son what did we give him? And he's chewing on for like 5 minutes.
Sausage.
It was a sausage? No, it wasn't a sausage. What did I give him before the sausage? Beef sausage. Just to make sure, you know what I'm saying, no complications. I gave him something before the sausage. I gave him the hot dog, the beef hot dog. I gave him the hot dog. Man, he was chewing on that thing for 5 minutes, just stacking it up in his jaws like a camel. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, you ate that pretty fast. I'm looking at his mouth. And it's like, oh my goodness. But he wasn't ready, right? He wasn't ready for the strong meat. All right, so that's the same way we'll do. We sit here and we'll chew on just some words, just like, just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? We'll sit there and chew on it, but it'll never go anywhere with us, right? But we just have to learn how to keep chewing. Keep taking in the milk, keep chewing, keep taking in the milk, and eventually we'll have teeth and we'll be able to eat it, all right? Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off last week. Does anyone remember who we were talking about? What king?
Yep.
Manasseh.
Manasseh. Then who else?
What was the one that you mentioned for like 5 seconds?
5 seconds. Who was it? You tell me. Manasseh did though. That's the one we mostly talk about. So we had King Manasseh. What's something interesting? I should need to find out who his Manasseh's son. What was interesting about King Manasseh?
Is it Amon?
Amon. All right. So we had King Manasseh, and then King Manasseh died, and he had a son named King Amon. All right. So what happened with Manasseh? Who remembers anything?
He got carried off, right?
Got carried off.
He did what he was supposed to do, but God was like, okay. Or he humbled himself.
He's humble, yeah.
And God said, okay. And he went back and he did what he was supposed to do. But Amon came back to ruin it.
Yeah, Amon came back and he ruined it. All right, so Amon came back and he started doing all the things. His father started off in a bad place. Right? The Most High God used the rod of Assyria to punish him. Right? After he was punished, his heart humbled. He cried out to God according to what Solomon prayed we talked about. Right? And God heard him. Right? God answered his prayer and brought him back to his land. After he brought him back to the land, Manasseh said, I'm cleaning this mess up. Right? So he started breaking down all the stuff that he built, all these false gods and improper worships. Right? He ended up breaking all that stuff down. And then he started to live righteous. All right, then he died. Then Amon came along. Amon, he erected everything that his father broke down. He erected that stuff right back there. He was like, man, I used to have fun back in the day. Pops came back and tore this stuff up. So he started building it back up, and he took the rule. Right? Then after that, some people conspired against Amon. All right, some of his friends, they made a plan against him. Or not his friends, rather, but some of his countrymen. All right, and then they made a plan against him, and they killed him. All right, so after they killed him, now we have a new king. All right, so let's start at Second Chronicles or Second Kings. Let's go to Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles or Second Kings?
We trying to remember which one says what.
Yeah, they pretty much are the same. I think Second Chronicles has what I'm looking for. Second Chronicles, chapter 34, verse 1. I didn't realize she was holding her. I thought you were waving to the baby. Like, where is she? She's standing up.
I was cracking my wrist.
Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 130 years.
All right, so now we have our king here, Josiah. All right, his name is Josiah. All right, so Josiah is the son of Ammon. All right, Ammon is the son of Manasseh. Manasseh is the son of Hezekiah. All right, Hezekiah was the son of who? Ahaz.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
then Ahaz was the son of Jehoshaphat, maybe?
No,
It was somebody before him?
Uzziah or
Was it Uzziah? I
Jotham.
think it is Jotham. It was Jotham, right? So Ahaz is the son of Jotham. Jotham was the son of Uzziah. Uzziah is the son of Jehoshaphat, right? Or is there one between them two?
Azariah, I think.
We're going back to the far side.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta read that.
Break out some Bible.
I used to have it written down. Well, I still do. I gotta look at that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know where my little poster is. I meant to hang it up. Anyways, so right now we're on King Josiah. Keep going. I'm sorry about that. We're on 2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 1.
And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to the right hand nor to the left.
All right, so he didn't turn, right? He didn't go to the right or to the left. He just did exactly, he tried to do exactly what David his father did, right? King David. We all remember him, right? Keep going.
For in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the God of David his father.
All right, so he was about 16. Remember, he started to reign when he was 8. All right, then in the 8th year of his reign, he started to seek out all the stuff that David did. Started to seek the God of David. All right, while he is yet young. So about 16 years old, he's a king, and he's looking like, man, I'm trying to get this thing right. Where's the God of David? Right. So about right now, what do you think he has? Strong meat. Milk, right? It would make sense if you have milk. Watch how God do it.
And in the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places, and the groves, and the carved images, and the molten images.
All right. You see how Peter told us to put away all malice, all guile, right? All envies, all hypocrisies, right? Because that's the same thing he's doing. He put away all the evil in the land. All right. He's trying to put it away. He's trying to desire the pure milk of the word. Keep going.
And they break down the altars of Balaam in his presence, and in the images that were on high above them he cut down. And the groves and the carved images and the molten images he brake in pieces, and made dust of them, and strode it upon the graves of them that had sacrificed unto them.
Keep going.
And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars,
All right. So
and
then
cleansed Judah and Jerusalem.
of the priests upon our altar. We're gonna come back to that. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1, I guess. Mm-hmm. 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1.
Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem.
So he's 8 years old. He reigned 31 years.
And his mother's name was Jedidah,
We'll take it.
the daughter of Adaiah of Bosketh. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, and walked in all the way of David his father, and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left.
All right, so since a young age, all right, so 16 years old, he's trying to make sure he is living like David. All right, keep going.
And it came to pass in the 18th year of King Josiah that the king sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, the scribe, to the house of the Lord, saying,
so he had the house of the Lord. All right, so he sent one of his servants. He sent them to the house of the Lord. What's the house of the Lord?
the temple.
The temple. All right, so he sent them to the temple. Where's the temple? In the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom?
Nope.
What's the southern kingdom's name?
Well, that's a city.
That's where the temple is. The temple is in Jerusalem. The southern kingdom is Judah, right? So we have the kings of Judah. That's why I call them the kings of Judah. All right. So in the southern kingdom lies Jerusalem. All right, and Jerusalem is where the temple rests. So he sent Shaphan.
Yep.
Yeah, he sent Shaphan. he said Shaphan go ahead and go to the temple. Let's see what he sent them there for.
Go up to Hilkiah, the high priest,
So we had the high priest. His name was Hilkiah at this time. So this was our high priest, and we had Shaphan that was going to go to Hilkiah.
that he may sum the silver which is brought into the house of the Lord, which the keepers of the door have gathered of all of the people.
All right, so all the people, we are given our tithes and our offerings and things like that. And so out of the silver that we gave, he had to go ahead and sum it up. Right? He had to calculate it, in other words, figure out how much it was.
And let them deliver it into the hand of the doers of the work that have the oversight of the house of the Lord, and let them give it to the doers of the work which is in the house of the Lord to repair the breaches of the house.
All right. So he had the breaches. What's a breach?
Like a doorpost.
A breach is like a hole.
Oh.
Right. So you have like a hole in the wall. Right. A breach in security. So it's a hole.
Oh.
Right. So he said
Old wooden ship. Yeah.
Apparently you just run. No, but a breach is a hole. So with these holes, he had holes inside of the temple. Because you have to think, we've covered so far, we covered hundreds of years, right? Since Moses and all that, we covered hundreds of years. So you had these kings, and we read that these kings. This king he reigned 31 years. We had some kings that reigned 50 years. Some kings that reigned 20-something years. And so we all have these kings, and it's just all these years been coming by, right? And we just been knocking off all these kings. So to us, when we read it, it just seemed like, oh, maybe a year or two, right? Because we read it like that, but really we're covering a whole lot of time. So through all this time, think about how many good kings we had, right? We had so many kings that didn't care. And so all this time we have the temple that's just being beat down, has all types of stuff in it that's not supposed to be in it. So when Josiah's trying to think about what David would do, Josiah's like, well, we need to clean this up. So he said, go ahead and calculate the money and give it to the people that's going to do the work, right? Keep going.
Unto carpenters and builders and masons, and to buy timber and hewn stone to repair the house. Howbeit there was no reckoning made with them of the money that was delivered into their hand, because they dealt faithfully.
All right, so in other words, they're saying they didn't calculate. They didn't say, okay, you know what? I'm giving you 3 pieces of silver now. So I'm right here. You want to see it? And you said, no, we know that y'all dealing faithfully, right? We believe that you're going to do right by it. You just take the money and you do it, right? That's they trust it. All right, keep going.
And Hilkiah the high priest said unto Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord.
All right, so he said, that sounds like they're playing it good. He said, they found the book of the law in the house of the Lord, right? So you see this, he only had the milk, right? But the Most High God, when you follow the instructions that you do have, is going to lead you to everything else. So now he stumbled upon the books of the law. Right? That's why it's important for us to clean out our temples, right? Because the Most High tells us, he said, we are the what?
Temple.
We are
the people. We are the temple, right? We're a temple of the Most High God. All right, so that's the same way that when he did that, when he discovered the milk, when he started trying to be righteous, right? When he started trying to look into the right thing to do, then he was led to the book of the law inside of the temple while cleaning it out. And since we're temples, we have an opportunity to clean out ourselves, to get rid of our malice, right? Get rid of our selfishness, get rid of our envies, our hypocrisy, right? Our guile, our deceit, all these different things that we have an opportunity to get rid of it, clean ourselves out, and then we'll find the book of the law in us, right? We'll find the book of the covenant in us. And that's what it's all about, right? We'll start to understand the word. All right, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. First, though, let's go to John chapter 2, verse. John chapter 2, verse. What's the last verse of John chapter 2? Let's shoot for 9. Let's just try it. See what happens. I have a feeling it's going to be a swing and a miss on this one.
When the ruler of the feast had tasted the the water that was made wine.
Drop down, go to about verse 13, maybe.
And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus
What does
went
the
to
12 say?
Jerusalem. After this, he went down to Capernaum.
All right, start at 12. So this is John chapter 2, verse what was it, 12?
Well,
Verse 12.
After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples, and they continued there not many days.
All right, so his disciples came with him, his brother and his mom. All right, and they continued there for a little while. All right, keep going.
And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves
All right,
and
so
the
when it
changers
came
of money
time-
sitting.
So when it came time to the Passover, we have a law, right? For 3 times of the year, all the males had to show up in Jerusalem at the temple, right? So Jesus, being the keeper of the law, when there was time, even though he is in Capernaum, and Capernaum is in the northern kingdom, right? Or where the northern kingdom once was, all right? And then Jerusalem, of course, is in the southern kingdom. So when it came time, Yahushua had to go down. He had to go on down to the southern kingdom, all right? Because he had to show up according to the law. So now that he went down there according to the law,
And found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords,
all right, so he made a scourge of small cords. A scourge is like a whip. You ever seen like a whip with the multiple, like a mop? You know what I'm saying? Not a mop, but you know what I'm saying? Has all the multiple little things on it. You hit them with it. I'm thinking about getting one
for what?
for that boy.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. But he made a scourge right out of cords. So cords could probably be like little reeds or little pieces of a plant. So he made a scourge out of cords. So he just made like a little whip, you know what I'm saying, or a big whip with a whole bunch of little whips on it. And so he made that when he came down because he saw all this stuff going on at the temple, right? He came to the temple and he saw all these people selling. He had money changers and all these different things that he felt was inappropriate. All right, keep going. This is John chapter 2, verse 14, 15. John chapter 2, verse 15.
And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables.
All right, God is love.
Yep.
Jesus is love.
Yep.
All right, so this now we have to picture this, right? We can read it and it just may not even mean nothing to it if we don't even really consider it and think about it. Think about this. We have to make it real for us. Person who's known for godliness or who says they are godly, right? Walks into this church, just starts knocking stuff over, then gets a harmful object, right? That people can get hurt by and just start swinging it, right? Swinging it, knocking stuff over, chasing people out of there. He ain't hitting it. I don't say that he hit nobody, but he is swinging it, right? And the people are running. So what do you think they think? He was trying to hit me with that crazy.
He crazy. He crazy.
Right? So they start running out. We have to think about this. Because it's probably going to be times where we're going to see some of this crazy stuff that we would think is crazy, that the world is going to think is crazy. But we have to look at the word and be able to look at, okay, what did he do wrong? Right? Is this wrong or is this just something that I'm not used to? All right? So we have to look at how he did it. He came in and he looked at it. Look at his reasoning now.
And said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence. Make
All right,
not
he said, get him out of here. All right, keep going.
Make not my father's house a house of merchandise.
All right, so he said, don't make my father's house a house of merchandise, a house where you're going to be selling stuff, right? Trying to get money, trying to make money off of the gospel. All right, keep going.
And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of mine house has eaten me up.
All right, so it was written in the prophet Jeremiah, I believe.
It says Psalms here.
Psalm?
69.
Mm-hmm. Might have been in Jeremiah too, though.
Well, let's hold what we got here. Go to Jeremiah chapter 10. I really don't want to go to Jeremiah yet because we haven't got to him. We should be getting to him pretty soon here. But let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10. I got to see what I'm thinking about. I think so. Probably verse 7, though. But let's just see what 9 says. Let's just see where we land. So far, we only have one miss. It's Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 9. I think it's chapter 10. I hope it's chapter 10. trying to think of what I'm thinking about.
Talking about the tree.
I know what I'm thinking about now. Go ahead and read it.
Reverse.
Verse 9.
Silver spread into plates is brought from Tarshish, and the gold from Uphaz, the work of the workmen in the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men.
Keep going.
Okay, so start there.
Start at verse 10.
But the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and an everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom. He hath stretched out the heavens by his discretion. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasuries. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Gather up thy wares out of the land, O inhabitant of the fortress.
Try Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 10.
That might do it. And come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered
There
to
we
all
go.
these. Okay.
Yeah, start about verse. That was verse 10.
Yep.
Start at verse like 8.
All right.
Yeah, I was thinking the zeal of my house is eating me up. That's Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
That's Psalms. I was thinking he gonna quote something else. Jesus quoted something and what he said, and this is what he quoted. Keep going.
Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit.
He said, you trust in words that can't profit because they're lies, right? And that's where all of us have come from. We trusted in lies, absolute lies, and they couldn't profit us, right? All these different, like I was telling you about the song, right? I just gotta wait until Sunday for my deliverance, or whatever she is singing, right? That's a lie, right? Sunday has no deliverance. Right? Even if somebody said it about the Sabbath, it would be a lie. You don't have to wait until no Sabbath for no deliverance. Right? Your deliverance comes whenever the Most High say it's appropriate. You wait for God. And we wait for however long he tell you to wait to get your deliverance. Right? But we get to trusting in this stuff and we feel like, oh, when Sunday comes, I'm going to go to church. I'm going to jump and I'm going to shout. And I know my deliverance is coming to change. I just feel the chains falling off. Right? And these are the things that we get caught up in. Right, but we put our trust in these words and they're lies. Keep going.
Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense to Baal?
Right, all these different things. You still gonna keep doing these things, right? Keep going.
And walk after other gods whom ye know not?
Right, and keep on walking after all these other gods and you don't know them. Keep going.
And come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations?
He said, then you're going to come to church and stand there and say, I'm saved? I do all these abominations and I'm saved? Right? That's the stuff that we do. You have people fornicating, lying, getting drunk, smoking weed. All these different things go right up in church every single Sunday and say they're saved. They're delivered to do these things. All right? Keep going. Watch what he said.
Is this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes?
Right? He said, has this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in my eyes? Right? That's what Yahushua was quoting when he says, my house is my father's house is don't make it like a house of merchandise. Right? All right? He says a den of robbers. All right? Go ahead and go back to chapter 2. This is John chapter 2. Then we left off about what, verse 16, 15? You making a whole lot of noise back there.
17.
Verse 17? I'm not sure. This is John chapter 2. What's it, verse 17?
Yep.
Verse 17.
Go sit down. And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of my house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, what sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou dost these things?
Right? So now the Jews, when they look at him, when our people see some crazy stuff like that, they looking like, look, you chasing people out. You supposed to be a man of God. Show me a sign. You show me a sign that gives you the authority to do this stuff. Right? Keep going.
Jesus answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
So listen closely to what he said. He said what?
Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
So let's repeat it. I want y'all to repeat it. What did he say?
Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
All right. Keep going.
Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body.
All right. So he is speaking of the temple of his body. All right. That's why when he saw the temple, we had to clean it out. And that's why with our temples, we have to clean ourselves out and get rid of all the malice, right? Get rid of all the adulteries, the fornication, the murders, all these different things. We have to get it out of us, right? Because it's the temple of the Most High God, and anybody who defiles the temple will be destroyed, right? And that's the law. All right? That's according to the law, right? That's the things that we look at. Let's go ahead and take a look since we're here. Matthew chapter 26. Matthew chapter 26, verse 59. It's a 9 in there. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 59. Don't be messing up my son's toys. He's so spoiled.
Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death.
All right, so this is after Jesus was captured, right? After he was sold out by Judas. They came and they captured him. They brought him into the. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 59.
Sanhedrin.
All right, so they brought him in front of the council. And now when they're in front of the council, they were looking for false witnesses. Keep going.
But found none.
But they couldn't find any false witnesses.
Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet they found none. And the last came to false witnesses.
So the
last came to false witnesses and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days.
All right, so what did he say that Jesus said?
Same thing Jesus said.
What's the difference?
I am able.
Destroy this temple and the temple of God.
The temple of God.
So what did Jesus say?
Destroy this temple.
What did Jesus say?
I will destroy this temple.
Is that what he said?
He said, destroy this temple and
he just
raise
said,
it up.
He said, destroy this temple, right? He didn't say, I will. He didn't say you. He just said, destroy this temple and I'll raise it up in 3 days. Right? But what did he say that he said?
He said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days.
See, he told him, he said he is going to destroy the temple and build it back in 3 days. So he just adding one word, changed everything. Right? Yahushua was saying, if y'all destroy this temple, I'll rebuild it. You want a sign? Destroy this temple. I'll rebuild it in 3 days, talking about himself, right? You killed me. I'll resurrect myself 3 days. Right? That's the sign that he was given. Right? But when they came to it, they said, no, he said he was going to destroy the temple. Right? That's probably what they thought they heard. All they heard is destroy temple. That's important for us because a person can think they're telling the truth. Right? And being a false witness, tell them a lie, but they can think they're telling the truth. All because of one little word. Everything else we're talking about is the same. That's why the Muslims use our Bible, right? Along with their Quran. That's why the Jewish people, the people who practice what they call Judaism, use our Bible, our Old Testament, right? That's why these Christians use our Bible, right? And all they do is take away one little word and changes the whole meaning. That's why what's our favorite verse?
To be absent.
Yeah, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? That's why that makes sense to them, right? And we look at it, it's like, well, I thought Paul said, I'd much rather be absent from the body and be
to be
with the Lord, right? So we look at those things. He's saying, well,
it is to be. Paul said,
they looking like it's a definition. Absent from the body equals present with the Lord. No, he's looking like, man, I'd much rather be dead and just, you know what I'm saying, be with my God. You know what I'm saying? When he resurrects, that's what he's talking about. Because he's talking about we walk by faith is what he started off with. We walk by faith. Faith is the substance of things you cannot see, right? You can't see God. So he said, I'd much rather be dead. But you take away some words, add in your own little word, changes the whole statement. And that's what happens with the Bible. That's what happens. The first thing that the devil said to Eve, right? The serpent. When he spoke to Eve said, oh, no, we can't eat it. No. The devil came up. Did God say you can't eat from any tree of the garden? Is that what he said?
Nope.
No. Right? So Eve had to correct him. No. We can eat from the trees of the garden. It's just the tree that's in the midst of the garden that we shouldn't eat. We can't even touch it lest we surely die. Then he come back, oh, no, you won't surely die. Right? Did he lie? Kind of not really, huh? Because how long they live? How long Adam lived?
900 some years.
930 years. He lived 930 years after that event. Right? So we look at it and like, well, technically, in a way, you don't come to say you make a case for the serpent. Right? He told the truth. God is the one that lied. That's how we look at it. All because he switched the definition, took out a word, changed some stuff up. But it's almost like the same thing is being said. Right? When he told her, he said, if you eat that fruit, you become like God. Right? Knowing good and evil. Right? It's good to make you wise, is what she looked at it and said. All those things, those are facts, right? God came back in verse 22 of that same, in chapter 3, verse 22 in Genesis, and he said, he is like, well, now they become like one of us, like knowing good from evil. So everything that the devil said to her, technically, you could make a case was true, but it ended up for damnation just because he switched it up just a little bit. That's why we have to be alert and be attentive to everything. We can't be so quick to trust everything just because it feels good, seems good. We can make sure it all lines up with the word. Remember, we come from bad thinking, all of us. We come from a place of bad thinking illogically, things that don't line up with the word. So, of course, a lot of this stuff, especially when we're new, is going to sound good to us, right? It's important that we always in war state, like, look, fighting against these spirits, fighting against lies, to make sure we can protect ourselves with our sword. All right. Let's go back to chapter 22. We want to go back to Kings. Let's go back to Kings, chapter 22. First Kings, or Second Kings, I'm sorry, chapter 22. All right, because we saw Josiah, he was cleaning out everything. All right, cleaning out everything. Then he ran into the book of the law.
And Hilkiah the high priest said unto Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord.
All right, so they found the book of the law while cleaning out the temple. All right, keep going.
And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, and he read it.
All right, so then Shaphan, he got the book and he started reading that thing.
And Shaphan the scribe came to the king and brought the king word again and said, Thy servants have gathered the money that was found in the house and have delivered into the hand of them that do the work, that have the oversight of the house of Yahuwah, of the Lord. And Shaphan the scribe showed the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath delivered me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king.
All right, so then Shaphan read it for the king. All right, so this is the
this book. Pretty cool stuff in here.
Yeah, he was looking at it like this is the book of the law, right? It's what Moses wrote. All right, so he said, well, let me go ahead and read it to the king. All right, keep going.
And it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the book of the law that he rent his clothes.
All right, so they tore his clothes. That's what rent means. It just means he ripped his clothes, tore his clothes, right? So after he heard the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Why would he tear his clothes? Sad, mad.
Because all them curses that came upon him.
All right, keep going.
And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, and Ahikam the son of Shaphan, and Atbor the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Ashahiah, a servant of the king's, saying, Go ye, inquire of the Lord for me and for the people,
Right?
and
So
for all Judah.
He said, Go inquire of the Lord for the people and all Judah, right? And for me, right? Because he is sad, right? He was upset. Wasn't the law, but why would God's word make us upset? He was a righteous man, though, right? He was already doing what was right. So why would it make him upset? Because of the people, right? Because of the people, right? I'm doing the right thing. What about the rest of the people? All right? He doesn't rejoice in iniquity. All right, just like we read in First Corinthians. We read it a couple times. We don't have to go to it. But it said that love doesn't rejoice in iniquity. Charity doesn't rejoice in iniquity. So if we find ourselves in that position, then when people around us are sinning, it shouldn't make us happy, especially when we have authority over them. He's the king, right? These are my people that I've been entrusted with, and they still walk in disorder. So he asked them to go inquire of the Lord, right?
Go ye, inquire of the Lord.
We read in Amos, how can two, my fault? We read in Amos, though, how can two walk together and not agree, right? Anybody remember us reading that name, Amos? In Amos, we read that, right? How can two walk together and not agree, right? So that means, how does God feel about people sinning? Let's find out. Let's go to Psalm chapter 5, verse 1. We read it before. Let's go to it again.
Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation.
All right, so this is Psalm chapter 5, verse 1. It said, Give ears to my word, consider my meditation.
Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God, for unto thee I will pray. My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee.
All right, you say you don't have pleasure in wickedness. What? What does that sound like?
You don't like evil.
He said, and it said, don't rejoice in iniquity. He said, love or charity doesn't rejoice in iniquity. It doesn't have pleasure in iniquity, but it takes joy in the truth. All right, so that's how God is. All right, and so now you look at a man that want to see God, is seeking God. He's looking, well, this makes me upset. He rent his clothes. Just like Yahushua, when he was walking into the temple, when he saw all that stuff going, he looking like, what this? Get the scourge and start trying to whip people with it, right? Because it ate them up, right? It tears them up on the inside. And that has to be our attitude. That's a sign for us. That's how you know what's going on in us is appropriate for God. All right. Go to 1 John. Right. No matter of fact, read the next verse. Read the next verse. So this is Psalm chapter 5. I think we left off of verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Psalm chapter 5, verse 4 or 5.
For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity.
Right? Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Everybody who works iniquity, God hates. All right? Now watch this. Go to 1 John. Matter of fact, verse.
Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. The Lord will abhor the bloody and deceitful man.
The bloody and the deceit. What's a bloody man?
Murderer.
A murderer. All right? A lot of times we read that in the Bible, it's like, I ain't talking about me. ain't talking about me. Let's go to 1 John. Because he said he hate those people, right? These are people that he hates. Uh, 1 John chapter 3. This is the epistle of John, all right? 1 John chapter 3, verse 14. Probably hit a home run, verse 9 and nothing good.
It is.
I'm already knowing that. Verse 9 is what, you know what I'm saying, you obey anybody who's saying is not born of God. This is,
1 John 3:14.
mhm. That's a pretty baby.
She's looking at her own belly.
It ain't big enough.
No, go sit down somewhere, man. We know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren.
All right, so this is a sign for us, right? We pass from death to life because we love the brethren. Is it because we love sinners?
No.
He didn't say that, right? You'll never see anywhere in this Bible where it commands us to love sinners, all right? You'll see it where it says love your enemies, all right? But you'll never see it where it tells you to love sinners. All right, keep going.
He that loveth not his brother abideth in death.
All right, so if you don't love your brother, then you remain in death. In other words, you're not saved. You're not going to be saved. Keep going.
Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him.
So you're a bloody man. All right, that'll make us bloody. All right, if we hate our brother, we hate somebody in the faith, we hate somebody even trying, we hate somebody new to the faith, somebody looking for God, and we hate them, that makes us a bloody man. Right? We have to love our brother. We have to love the people that's trying to get in there. And we have to love our enemies. All right? We don't necessarily have to hate no sinner, but we definitely don't take pleasure in what they do. All right? We shouldn't take pleasure. It should bother us. All right? If it doesn't, then we still have work to do or something that needs to change inside of us. All right? It's dangerous for us. We have to pay attention to these things. All right? Let's go ahead and go back to 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 22, I think we left off like verse, actually, I have no idea where we left off.
13.
13. 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 13.
Go ye, inquire of the Lord for me, and for the people, and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book to do according unto all that which is written concerning us.
See, now he throwing all their fathers under the bus, but who father didn't hearken to it? That was his daddy.
Yeah, buddy.
You know what I'm saying? That was his daddy.
Ammon.
You know what I'm saying? It's like my granddad actually got it right, started hooking it up, and my pops came through and just started making a mess, right? But all their fathers had, right? All of our fathers, when we look at it, right? We look at it, it's just all our fathers made a mess. Right? Didn't hearken onto the words of the law. Right? We wasn't doing that. Even we thought they were good and good people. Right? They wasn't hearkening to the words of the law. All right, keep going.
So Hilkiah the priest, and Ahikam, and Achbor, and Shaphan, and Asahiah went unto Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tigva.
Hilda the what?
The prophetess.
The prophetess. What's a prophetess?
A female version of a prophet.
The female version of the prophet. Okay, keep going.
The wife of Shallum, the son of Tikva, the son of Heres, keeper of the wardrobe.
All right.
Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her. And she said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel.
All right, so they went to her, and she's telling them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel.
Tell the man that sent. Oh, my bad.
You're all right. So she was in the position where she is about to tell them the word, right? But what does the word tell us about women in the word? Huh?
No teaching men.
No teaching men, right? So did he send men or women?
Man was sent to a woman.
He sent men or women? He sent Hilkiah. Who he sent? Hilkiah.
He sent men.
He sent men, and they went to a woman. Is that a problem? Why is it not a problem?
Because they were
She's telling them what God said.
Because prophecy is different from teaching the word,
Okay.
right? We have women prophets. All right, who was our first woman prophet?
Deborah. Was it?
Anybody else want to take a guess?
Woman prophet?
Deborah, final answer. Miriam. There we go.
We have Miriam.
Thanks.
Sorry.
All right, let's go to Exodus. Let's read a little bit about Miriam.
Chance.
We're gonna hold ourselves in 2 Kings chapter 22,
I just read that too.
and we're gonna go to Exodus chapter 15 and learn about some of our women prophets. He named Deborah too, so we'll check Deborah out too. We'll try to see if we can see some difference between a pastor or a preacher or a teacher of God's word and a prophet. All right, and see what the difference is between them.
Is it Exodus what?
This is Exodus chapter 15.
Can I ask you a question before I read?
Mhm.
Okay, remember you said they had to go south for the temple?
Mhm.
Wasn't King Hezekiah waiting for people to come from the south to have Passover when he did it in the second month?
No, he was waiting for people to come from the north.
Oh,
Yeah, Hezekiah. Yeah.
but
From Dan to Beersheba.
Yeah, they had to come. Oh, that's north of Jerusalem.
Beersheba's super far south, but yeah, Dan is like the highest you can get. Yeah, that map would really help. Exodus what?
We're going to Exodus chapter 15, verse. I'm almost thinking 20 is what I'm looking for, so let's go to verse 18 just in case.
The Lord shall reign forever and ever.
It's our what?
It says the Lord shall reign forever and ever.
What else?
For
Oh, okay. Well, this is Moses talking. So if you go to verse 1, it's probably going to tell you that Moses is singing the song. So let's just read verse 1 real quick and we'll skip.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously.
Right. So Moses goes on and he keeps singing. Now, if we jump on down to verse 18, he continues on with it. And I think it's about the end of this song.
The Lord shall reign forever and ever. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a
Miriam the what?
prophetess.
The prophetess. Who is she speaking to?
The sister of Aaron took a tremble in her hand.
This is Moses' sister, by the way. You had Aaron and Moses were brothers, and this is the sister of Aaron. All right, so this is Moses' sister. They all came from the same mother and father. Keep going.
And all the women went out after her.
The
women went out after her with trembles and with dances.
All right, so all the women came after her with trembles and with dances. Yeah, some churches that teach women can't sing either, right? Because they look and they say a woman should learn in silence. And they teach a woman can't sing. But she went with the woman. I mean, she went to the women and she told them to sing. That's book there. That's in our law. All right, a woman can sing. It's not that a woman can't speak or say anything or make any noise. Right? It's just that a woman can't speak and teach the word. She should remain silent and she should learn in all subjection. All right, so when we speak, when we say these things, then a woman is in a position where she has to, or she's supposed to learn in silence. All right, keep going. What was that, verse 21?
This is verse 21.
What?
And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he hath thrown into the sea.
All right, so she is a prophet. So does the prophetess have to prophesy to women?
No.
No, let's check out Deborah. She prophesied to women, though. All right, let's check out Deborah.
That was her prophecy.
Oh yeah, this is it's not really documented much of what she says, but it's written in Micah, I believe.
Zechariah.
Zechariah?
Okay, it's Micah. Because
Micah or what's the other? Yeah, I can't think of it.
Malachi. It's Micah because I just got done reading Micah, so it's Micah.
And he said that I sent to you Aaron, Moses.
It's either that or Zechariah because those are the last two books I read recently. So if you saying Micah, that must be it because right after Micah is Zechariah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's either Micah or Malachi.
It's not Malachi.
No.
Wait. Am I in Malachi yet?
I think it is Malachi.
It might be because I read all three of those like back to back. So yeah.
I wish I knew the chapter because I would look for it because it's bothering me now. Go to Oh my goodness. So Deborah, Judges. Judges 1 is like the introduction.
This
Judges
is
2,
with Jephthah
Judges.
or Gideon. Was she with Gideon?
No. Gideon is charged with like 4. 4 is probably right. 5 would be, I was going to say 5, but I think 5 is her song.
I don't actually know. It just says Deborah top 4, so that's what happened.
We'll go with what the word says.
She wasn't. Who was the judge she went with then?
She didn't go with a judge.
Yes, she did.
Good point, though. That's what we're going to talk about.
Didn't he say, I won't go unless you come with me?
Mm-hmm. He wasn't a judge, though. We'll read about it.
Okay. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4, verse 1. This is Judges chapter 4, verse 1. We're going to read about Deborah. See what she was.
And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Hazrosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron. In 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel.
All right, so we are always being oppressed, right? Because we always walked in sin. You have to think about it. The Most High God, he don't treat the other nations like this because he chose us, showed himself to us. So now our punishment is greater. That's what I always tell people when they come to me. I talked to a sister. She was asking me about some questions and talking to me about some visions and dreams that she has. And she was like, everybody think I'm crazy. I don't think you're crazy. I believe you see everything. I have no reason to not believe that you see what you see. All right. That doesn't make what you see real. And it doesn't make, even if it is real, it doesn't necessarily make it better for you. It just means that you have more of a responsibility. Right. But God shows himself to you. It's going to be worse for you if you don't. That's why I say it can and will be used against you in the day of judgment. That's why we always start off that way. Because we have to understand it's not bad to have visions and dreams and for to have God speaking to you. All those things are good things. But that means you have to take it further than everybody else who didn't. Right? He told Thomas, when Thomas he was like, man, I'm not gonna believe. Right? Jesus, I know he didn't raise. Y'all sure there's no way that he rose up. Right? But everybody else would tell him, yes, he did. He's like, I'm not gonna believe until I can touch his wounds. So when Yahweh showed himself, he said, now you touched me and you put your hand in the places where you wanted to put your hand. You see. But blessed are those who believe and don't see. Right? So everybody's in different positions. And we have to be mindful of those things. We can't play with God when he gives us extra. All right? Extra from us. All right, keep going.
And Deborah, a prophetess.
So Deborah is a what?
Prophetess.
Another prophetess, right? So it's a woman. Keep going.
The wife of Lapithoth. She judged Israel at that time.
So she was a judge. So women can judge as well. What's a judge?
The ruler of the people. Judge between right and wrong, certain cases.
Judge is not a ruler. Right? A judge, well, a judge in this sense is somebody who vindicates, right? Who gets justice, right? A judge also can be a person who vindicates, can also be a person who decides. So a woman can't decide, well, this is right, this is wrong, right? In the place of a judge, right? Keep going.
And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramoth and Bethel in Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came to her for judgment. All
right, so the children of Israel came to her for judgment. That means they came to her to make decisions. All right, keep going.
And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh, Naphtali, and said unto him,
what did she say on the Barak?
Hath not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun.
All right, so now Deborah was telling Barak, she was like, yeah, didn't the Lord tell you to go take Mount Tabor? Take all these people with you. All right, go get it. Let's see what Barak said, though.
And I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand.
All right, so the Most High God told Deborah to tell him that he's going to deliver it into Barak's hand. All right, but let's see what Barak said.
And Barak said unto her, If thou wilt go with me, then I will go.
All right, he said, well, I'll go if you go. Right, but she's a woman. All right, so he's looking like, look, I'm not going without you because she's the judge. The difference between her and the rest of the judges, we had Gideon. Did Gideon tell any? God spoke to Gideon. Gideon was a prophet, right? Did Gideon go tell anybody else to go do it?
Nope.
He went to go do it, right? You had Elah. Elah,
yeah.
Yeah, Elah, right? He went, he was a judge and he did it, right? You had
Ehud.
you had Samson, right? He was a judge. Angel came to his mom and dad, right? When it was time for him to judge, he went and did it. He went and warred with the people. All the judges that we see, every one of them, they went out and warred themselves. They didn't go tell nobody else to go war for them. They went to war. So now that's why this man, he's looking like, well, hold on. You the judge. You know what I'm saying? God told you that. Okay. Well, if you come with me, we'll do it. Because you're the one that got that message. God didn't tell me to be a judge. He told you to be the judge. And all the other judges we had, they went out and they took over stuff by themselves, right? Or they led it. They led the charge. So now he's looking at her like, well, I'll go if you go with me. All right, but let's see what happens.
And Barak said unto her, if thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go.
He said, I'm not messing with it if you're not going. All right, you the judge. Keep going.
And she said, I will surely go with thee.
He said, okay, I'll go with you.
Notwithstanding, the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor.
He said, you're not going to get any glory from it. All right, what we're about to do, you're not going to get any glory. And let's figure out why.
For the Lord shall...
So remember, he's not going to get any glory. So if you don't get glory, what does it work out to be?
Empty.
Shame. All right, it works out to be for your shame. So let's look at it. Let's figure out how this is going to work out to be for no glory.
I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For the Lord shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman.
All right, so he said he's going to get this battle over to a woman. All right, a woman is going to win it for him. Is she talking about herself?
Mm-mm.
No, later on what happens is the king of Sisera, he ends up running into a tent. All right, and he runs into a tent with a woman there. And when he tried to sleep, the woman invites him in. She's like, come in here and just take some rest because he's on the run. And so he goes in there, falls asleep. She takes a nail, the nails that you put on the side of the tent to keep it down. She takes something like that and then slams it into his head and kills him. A woman kills him, not Deborah. Totally different woman ended up killing the king. Right? So that took away all his glory. Right? That's why we have to look at these things. It's not wrong to be a prophetess, right? It's nothing wrong for a woman to speak the word as given to her in a dream or a vision.
Wasn't he the captain of the army?
Oh.
Yeah, he was the captain. Sisera.
Sisera was the captain?
Yeah, he's captain.
All right, we had Sisera was the captain then. I think I call him with a ruler king.
Yeah.
All right, we had Sisera was the captain, and he drilled into his head with the nail. All right, and so we look at these things and we see that this was made out to be something that didn't give him honor. So a woman winning the war wouldn't be honored. It's something like that. Go to Isaiah chapter 3. All right, we have prophecy in Joel. Joel said that in those days, right, in the days to come, that he'll pour his spirit out. God will pour his spirit out, and our sons and daughters will prophesy. All right, so prophecy is something that women can do. The Bible just teaches that a woman shouldn't teach or have authority over a man.
Go to where?
All right, that's our shame, right? Isaiah chapter 3, start at verse 10. Heck, just start at verse 9. It's Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9.
The shew of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom.
All right? He said, the way you look witness against you. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings.
All right? He said, to the righteous people, it's going to be all right with you, because you're going to produce good fruit, and you're going to eat it. All right? It's good fruit. What about the wicked?
Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with them.
Woe means
with him.
What?
Destruction.
Destruction.
It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given him.
All right. So if you wicked, that means you producing bad fruit. Corrupt fruit is gonna kill you. All right. So he said it's not gonna be. It's gonna be ill with you. It's not gonna be well with you. Keep going.
As for my people, children are their oppressors.
He
And
said, children are their oppressors, right? This is something that he's saying to our shame. It's not something he's saying to our glory. He's not saying this for our honor. He's saying it to our shame. He said, for my people, children are their oppressors. And I wonder what he could say next.
and women rule over them.
And women rule over them, right? So for all the people that look at it and say, oh no, a woman can lead the church, a woman can do this, a woman can run the household, a woman can do all these things. That's fine. She can do whatever she wants, your church and your household, right? If we look at these things according to the word, he's telling us that these things are a shame to us, right? He's looking at us like, for my people, children run the house, right? Children rule over us, and women are their oppressors. I'm sorry, children are their oppressors, and women are ruled over them. These things aren't appropriate for us, right? She can prophesy though, and she can make decisions. She can even decide, well, this is right and this is wrong in a situation if someone comes to it, right? But for her to preach, to her to teach, and for her to take the leadership and not be in submission to her husband, to her own husband, right? Then that wouldn't be appropriate. All right, let's go. Let's get back to Hilda. We're gonna go on back to 2 Kings chapter 22, verse
14.
verse 14. So 2 Kings chapter. That's what we're on.
Yeah.
2 Kings chapter 22, verse 14. Then. Same early.
So Hilkiah the priest and Ahikam and Akbor and Shaphan and Asaiah went unto Huldah the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tikva, the son of Harus, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her. And she said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Tell me the man that sent you to me. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the words of the book which the king of Judah hath read, because they have forsaken me and have burnt incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands. Therefore my wrath shall be kindled against this place and shall not be quenched.
All right, so this is God prophesying, just letting them know. So far, he's prophesied to about 3 of our kings. Right? He told Hezekiah this. Remember, Hezekiah was like, "Well, it's not happening in my days." But what the Lord said was good. All right. Then he told Manasseh the same thing. So Manasseh, he was like, "Okay, it's going down now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn Jerusalem." We didn't read it, but he said, "I'm gonna turn Jerusalem over like a person wiping a dish. When you wash dishes, you turn it over and make sure everything is good." He said, I'm gonna turn Jerusalem over just like I'm cleaning the dish." He said, "Everybody's gonna be out here." And now we hear him telling the judgment against them right now again. All right, keep going.
But to the king of Judah, which sent you to inquire of the Lord, thus
he
shall...
said, but to the king of Judah, so he's talking about Josiah. He said, but for Josiah, thus says the Lord.
Thus shall ye say to him, Thus says the Lord God of Israel, as touching the words which thou hast heard.
So he said, concerning everything that you heard, in other words, concerning the stuff that Shaphan read.
Because thine heart was tender, and thou hast humbled thyself before the Lord.
Heart is tender? What is that the opposite of?
Hard.
A hard heart, right? So he is looking like your heart is tender, right? It touched your heart. It penetrated your heart when you heard that word. Or you heard that word, it did something to you. Right? You wasn't sitting there looking like, oh, man, that can't be talking about me because, all right? You looking at it like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Right? I can't believe it. Right? Somebody go inquire of the Lord and see what's going to happen to us because our fathers transgressed this stuff. All right, keep going.
Because thine heart was tender, and thou hast humbled thyself before the Lord, when thou heardest what I spake against this place and against the inhabitants thereof, that they should become a desolation and a curse, and hast rent thy clothes and wept before me, I also have heard thee, saith the Lord.
All right, so now he said, because of that, I've heard you. Let's see what the Most High God said to him.
Behold, therefore I will gather thee unto thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered unto thy grave in peace, and thine eyes shall not see this evil which I will bring upon this place. And
he said, you're gonna die a peaceful death, and you won't even see all the evil that I'm gonna bring on this place. You know what I'm saying? Just because your heart was tender, right? It moved you what I said, right? It penetrated your heart. You made your heart soft to what I was saying. All right, keep going.
And they brought the king word again.
Next chapter.
Get my pen over here.
It's 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 1.
And the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem.
All right. So what do you think after he did, after he heard from God? He got confirmation. He heard the word. He knows what's right. What do you think he did? He just kind of live and let live. You know what I'm saying? Just like, well, now that I got it, you know what I'm saying? Let these other people just do what they do. You know what I'm saying? Me though, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do the right thing. You know, these people, they don't want to listen. That's their life. Let's see.
And the king went up into the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Lord.
All right, he gathered all the people and made sure all of them heard the word. All right, and what else he did?
And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimonies.
All right, then he made a covenant with all the people. He said, you know what? Let's all keep his commandments. All right, it's an agreement that we're all making to keep his commandments. Keep going.
And his statutes with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant. And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest and the priests of the second order and the keepers of the door to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal.
Jump on down to so this is they talk about cleaning up the temple and make sure that the temple is right. Because we'll probably have to get to it next week, but they're going to end up keeping the Passover, kind of like Hezekiah did, but this one's going to be even greater, right? So jump on down to about verse 14. This is 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 14.
And he brake in pieces the images and cut down the groves and filled their places with the bones of men.
All right, so this is after he'd gone up into Israel. So he did all this in Jerusalem. But now he went up into Israel. He went up into the northern kingdom, right? And he went over all those places. Let's see. Does Josiah sound familiar to anybody? That name?
Yep.
All right, let's read about it.
Moreover, the altar was at Bethel, in the high place which Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, had made.
Well, who remembers Bethel?
That's what it's saying. That's what Jeroboam put his name, put all them altars in.
Yeah.
In the idols.
Remember Jeroboam, son of Nebat. Right, he was the king with Rehoboam. He came right after Solomon, and the first thing he did was create, all right, the golden calf. Right, he put the two golden calves, and he also made the holidays. All right, so that the people wouldn't go down into the southern kingdom, Jerusalem. So now we reading about this again. Keep going.
Moreover, the altar that was at Bethel in the high place which Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, had made, both that altar and the high place he brake down and burnt the high place and stamped it small to powder and burnt the grove.
Josiah went to Bethel and he knocked all that stuff down, right? Burnt it, knocked it down, stepped it into small powder. Let's see, keep going.
And as Josiah turned himself, he spied the sepulchres that were there in the mount and sent and took the bones out of the sepulchres and burnt them upon the altar and polluted it.
He did what?
He burnt them on the altar and polluted it, according to the word of the Lord. The bones of the men.
Read it again for me.
And as Josiah turned himself, he spied the sepulchres that were there.
He saw the sepulchres, which is a gravesite or a tomb. So Josiah saw the tomb, and then what?
In the mount, and he sent and took the bones out of the sepulchres and burnt them.
He took the bones out of the tomb, and then he did what?
And he burnt them upon the altar.
And burnt them upon the altar. Keep going.
And polluted it according to the word of the Lord, which the man of God proclaimed, who proclaimed these words.
Y'all remember the man of God?
Absolutely.
Let's go to First Kings chapter 13.
Then a lion eat him?
Yep. First Kings chapter 13, verse 1.
And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of the Lord unto Bethel.
So this is way before. This is years before, hundreds of years before. Right. So there was a man of God out of Judah. He came from Judah, and he came to where?
Bethel.
To Bethel. Right. Same place Josiah was. Let's see.
And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense.
So this is Jeroboam, the same Jeroboam that made the altar in Bethel. Right. And in Dan. All right. Keep going.
And he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord and said.
So now the man of God, he came and he cried against it. So in other words, he's yelling at it. He's yelling at the altar. Look what he said to the altar.
O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord.
Altar, thus says the Lord.
Behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David.
He said it's going to be a child born to the house of David.
Josiah by name.
His name is going to be Josiah. This is hundreds of years before. So he told us it's going to be a child born, and his name is going to be Josiah. And let's see what Josiah is going to do.
And upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee.
He said he's going to make an offering of human beings, of the priests who sacrifice at the high places. And what else is he going to do?
And he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign which...
Wait,
my bad. And upon thee shall he offer the priest of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burned upon thee.
All right, he said, and men's bones are going to be burnt upon him. So that's why when we saw Josiah, he came back and he burnt the bones, right? He fulfilled the word. But think about how many kings we've read since we've been over this. How much time has passed by, and God was still faithful to come and making this come to pass, right? It's something that we look at. It may have been a long time. They probably forgot all about it, didn't think it was going to happen. They probably sitting there like, oh, please. You know what I'm saying? That man, he got ate. Remember, that man, the man of God, the prophet who said that stuff, he got ate by a lion, right? So you look at my, oh, he got ate by a lion. You know, he wasn't no real prophet. Then hundreds of years later, that thing still comes back exactly how God said it was by the same person that he named. Right, everything is gonna line up exactly to his word. That's why we can take. That's a good thing about God. We can take him at his word for when it's good, but we can take him at his word when it's bad too. Right, and that's why it's important for us to look at the word and do it correctly. All right, Yahushua is gonna do the same thing. He's gonna make an offering too. Let's read about it before we get up out of here. It's Revelation chapter 20. Revelation chapter 20, verse 11. See about his offering. But Josiah, when he went there, he took the bones, right? Took them right out of their graves, didn't he? Yeah, nice and dead.
And what verse?
Revelation chapter 20, verse 11.
And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. The dead.
He saw the dead. All right, what you did? They're probably bones. All right, let's see what happened to these dead people.
And the books were opened. And
the books were open.
And another book was opened, which was in the book of life, which is the book of life.
So you had a whole bunch of books, then you had the book of life. Right, so you probably had like 66 books open, and then the book of life also. All right, keep going.
And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works.
All right, so everything that was written in the books according to their works, the dead was judged by it. All right, and what else happened?
And the sea gave up the dead which were in it.
All right, so everybody who just fell over in the sea gave them up.
And death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
All right, so then the ground gave up everything that was delivered. That was inside of them.
And there were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
All right, so then all the people got cast into the lake of fire. So he burned up their bones too. All right, just like Josiah. All right, because the prophecy said a child is going to be born, Josiah by name. But the prophecy also told us in Isaiah, a child will be born. All right. And he said that his name would be Emmanuel. All right. So that's what we look at. All these things are fulfilled by Yahushua. All right. Let's go ahead and, any questions or anything? No, look like it. Let's go ahead and pray out.